Welcome to Paradelphia Radio. This is Doug Hogate Jr. coming back here on Toxic Radio. And welcome here in the studio with Mrs. Paradelphia. That's Taryn Prewitt. New nickname for her. I just came up with that.
I kind of like that,
See,
actually.
it's these ideas I come up at a whim. If I plan anything out, it's just no good. So, but also joining us in studio for the first time since announcing he's joining our crew is Mr. Mario Cerrito.
What's going on?
He is now live. And I have to say, he's in studio after a big thing that just happened a couple days ago, and you're still here with us.
Yeah, the birth of my second son,
Yes.
Sabatino.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny because when I announced, when I went to announce it on the Paradelphia page, I almost put, because I saw it was Sabatino, I almost put Sebastian. And I was like, he's going to kill me if I get it wrong. but yeah, so everything's going good then.
Yeah, we went in on a scheduled C-section, which was Monday, March 1st, which is actually my birthday. So that was crazy. So now my birthday's now compromised for the rest of my life because my wife's going to favor my son now. But yeah, we went in for the C-section and everything turned out great. And
That's awesome.
Char will go home in the morning. So
good deal.
Yeah,
and like I said, I mean, it's awesome. Here you are, and still joining us in. So
now I wanted to tell you a little about the C-section.
That's what I was going to ask you. You were saying there's something interesting.
Yeah. So as you may not or may know or may not know, I do horror films. And I do a lot of blood and I do a lot of guts. And, I knew going into the C-section, because I've been through the other one with my other son, that I get squeamish. The heart rate goes up. The blood pressure goes through the roof because it's like literally walking into a horror scene. Because it is truly like your wife is there with a sheet over her, half of her body, and you go in and you're there to comfort her when you're out of control.
You're about ready to go unconscious.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like get a room for me ready because but yeah, it's definitely crazy. And but yeah, thank God it worked out and everything's cool.
That's good. Wow. And you, of course, you're not still admitted, or you didn't get admitted there for falling down or whatnot.
No.
So
I was talking to myself and took some deep breaths and everything worked out. So.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear everything went good and here you are, so that's perfect.
Yes.
And again, I haven't had a chance to say it on the air, but it's of course no one ever would ever replace Rick, but couldn't think of anybody else better to have join us. So we know you guys were close too.
Yeah, and just to uphold his legacy here is great. Just to
definitely
be a part of it.
All right, well, tonight, as we posted, if you didn't post, we're actually, unfortunately, we're not joined by Jen and Jean. They were supposed to be here, but couldn't. But we are going to be talking about some cults that have been in some modern day history here. But before we get into that, we actually came up with a new segment that Mrs. Taryn here is going to start with, and it's called Rickism.
Rickisms, yes.
Go ahead, Taryn. It's all you.
So this is just something that's on Facebook that I hashtagged Rickisms. I've been doing this the last couple of years, and it's just, my husband was quite the smartass, and he had a lot of funny things to say, usually, funny things where he was insulting me in some way, and it was, and I love to throw him under the bus, so I would just, I would put whatever he said on Facebook and do the hashtag Rickism. So you could probably pull him up if you wanted to. But I'm going to just be reading one of them. So what he said was, "You need to be tranquilized, tagged, and studied."
And he was talking about you.
He was talking about you.
He said this to me.
Okay.
Talking about me.
That's funny.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
So what? Yeah. Go ahead.
And the reason he said this is because I like to watch FabFitFun unboxing videos before I get my subscription box in the mail to minimize the surprise, because I don't like surprises. So I like to watch the videos so that I kind of get an idea of what's in the box. And he said that I needed to be tranquilized, tagged, and studied.
Hey,
that's awesome.
In other words, of course, it's all love, So, but that's awesome. And again, with this new segment, we figured every time we do an episode, you come up with, because like Taryn said, hashtag Rickism. And Rickisms, I'm sorry, you will see all kinds of stuff. I mean, because that dude was posting every day about whether it was his students, about you, or about someone he experienced at Wawa.
It was always the Wawa. Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that
I've
or
been adding stuff to it. So there's,
Waiting in line at
there's
Wawa.
like some pictures in there, some goofy stuff where he just commented on it. You know, some kind of funny comment, things he commented on other people's pages and everything. So
yeah,
That's funny.
it's perfect. So, all right, well, that is definitely the hashtag Rickisms of this episode, and of course, check it out as I'll share that too on our Facebook page. So that way. All right, so again, tonight we're going to get into our topic of cults. Now, what we did here is we chose a different cult. And again, Jen and Gene, they chose one. Unfortunately, can't be here, but myself, Mario, we have one, and then we'll throw one in there with time. So we'll get right into it here. Now, this first one I chose was Heaven's Gate. Now, the reason I picked Heaven's Gate with all the cults out there is because I just recently, Melly and I saw a documentary on it, and it's absolutely, I don't want to say crazy because I don't want to judge them, but we'll let everyone else judge for themselves. So it was an American new religious movement, and it was founded in 1974 by Bonnie Needles and a Marshall Applewood. Now, it was a thing of spiritual discovery, identifying themselves as two witnesses of revelation and attracting a following of several hundred people in the mid-1970s. They're characterized as a UFO religion. Initially, the group had been told that they would be biologically and chemically transformed into extraterrestrial beings and be transported with their bodies aboard a spacecraft that would come to Earth, then take the crew to heaven. And heaven was referred to as next level. However, when Bonnie Needles, she died of cancer in 1985, the belief changed. And then it was that you have to leave the consciousness from the body, and then you will go aboard a spacecraft, because her body, she died prior to, instead of it, you're going to go aboard. So, of course, when that happened, they kind of got proven wrong. So they believed to be eligible for membership to go to the next level, humans had to give up all human-like characteristics, such as their family, friends, gender, sexuality, individuality, jobs, money, and possessions. The evolutionary level above human was another world in our universe, where residents live in pure bliss and nourish themselves by absorbing pure sunlight. Beings do not engage in sexual intercourse, eating or dying. The things that make us called mammalian, or mammalian is what they called it here. Heaven's Gate believed that what the Bible calls God is actually a highly developed extraterrestrial. Members of the group gave themselves three-letter names with the suffix ODY that they adopted in lieu of their original given names, which defines children of the next level. Members believed that evil space aliens called Luciferians falsely represented themselves to Earthlings as God and conspired to keep humans from developing. These aliens have spacecraft, space-time travel, telepathy, and increased longevity. They use holograms to fake miracles, and Heaven's Gate believed that all existing religions on Earth had been corrupted by those aliens, those Luciferians. In October of 1996, the group began renting a large mansion, which they called the Monastery, in California. They paid $7,000 per month in cash. In the same month, the group purchased alien abduction insurance, and that would cover up to 50 members. That would pay out $1 million per person, and the policy covered abduction, impregnation, and death by aliens. On March 19th through the 20th of 1997, they all taped themselves in what was called a Doe's final exit, which Applewood, his name was Doe, and then the Nettles woman, she was Ty. So it's called Doe's Final Exit, where he's speaking of the mass suicide and that was the only way to evacuate this Earth. They explained that a spacecraft was trailing comet Hale-Bopp. Do you guys remember Hale-Bopp? Hale-Bopp was a comet that, it was like, I think it was like
in the 90s?
Closest, it was like you could see it up in the sky.
Yeah.
Well, they believed that that's what their alien spacecraft was following. So he persuaded 38 followers to prepare for ritual suicide so their souls could board the craft. Their preparations included each member videotaping a farewell message, which, again, where I saw that documentary, And I saw, like, they showed clips, and I mean, these people
creepy.
just, they know what's about to happen, and they're just thinking that they're going in an alien spacecraft.
Right.
To kill themselves, they took phenobarbital. I think I'm saying that right, or phenobarbital.
Phenobarbital.
Okay, thank you. Mixed with applesauce or pudding, and they washed it down with vodka. Additionally, they secured plastic bags around their heads after ingesting the mix to induce asphyxiation. Asphyxiation. Wow. All 39 were dressed in identical black shirts and sweatpants, brand new black and white Nike Decades athletic shoes, and armband patches reading Heaven's Gate Away Team. Each member had on their person a $5 bill and 3 quarters in their pockets. The 39 consisted of 21 women and 18 men between the ages of 26 and 72, and they are believed to have died in 3 groups of 15, 15, and 9 from the 22nd to the 26th, and I guess that's because they cleaned each other up when they did that. So one final thing with this, so this is how you actually got to enter their heaven or next level or the spaceship, whatever you would say. So the physical pickup on Tela, which was the spacecraft, Telah, and transferred to the next level body aboard the craft. An alien spacecraft would descend to Earth and collect Applewhite nettles and their followers, and their human bodies would be transformed through biological and chemical processes to perfect beings. Natural death, accidental death, and death from random violence. Their graduating soul leaves the human container for a perfected next level body. So, an outside persecution that leads to death, because Applewhite was afraid that the government was going to murder him and his members from what they did with Waco,
Right.
when the whole Waco thing took place. And to finalize it all, you could not commit suicide. If you committed suicide, which even though they had a mass suicide before it was time, if you killed yourself, then you wouldn't get to this next level. So,
Wow.
thoughts?
Wacky. Well, my initial thought is whoever was selling the alien abduction insurance is a genius, because he was a bandit. He was a bandit.
I know.
That guy was making money hand over fist and never have to redeem it.
Right. I mean, especially when you have the fact that it's covered for abduction, impregnation. So if you go and say, I got pregnant by an alien.
Yeah, exactly.
I get $1 million.
That guy was a genius, whoever made that insurance up.
I'm telling you. I mean, like, and again, I saw this documentary. I've always heard of it, much like, with what yours coming up, and I just never knew that much detail, which of course any cult has so much detail.
They're mind-blowing.
Right,
really.
and in 96 it was fairly recent.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah,
so people do remember seeing that news footage.
Wow.
But how about your thoughts? Any thoughts on this?
Wasn't Tela like a character in He-Man?
You know what?
I think it was.
I think you're right.
I mean, I didn't play with that stuff because I was a girl and that was a boy's toy.
That might be.
Like, I
don't know. No. Does Mike know something about that? Do you know anything? If he's paying attention?
About what? About
He-Man.
Oh, I thought about He-Man. I knew about He-Man.
No,
wasn't
but
Tela like a character, like one of the sisters or girlfriends
sounds
or
like
whatever?
it. I can't.
I'm gonna look.
I'm gonna have to dig deep into my childhood. I don't know what's gonna come up.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna put that out there.
I'm just doing a quick.
It's always a little scary when my
yes,
deep into
Tela. Except this was spelled Teela.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
But so I'm
He-Man.
right, but there was.
You were.
That's
so
strong.
what was she?
It was a fictional superhero hero from the Masters of the Universe franchise.
That's a strong pull.
So what we've learned is Taryn did play with He-Man.
I did not play with He-Man.
It's funny what you learn.
I did secretly kind of think it was cool, but I didn't play with it because I was very much one of those kids that was like, I don't want to play with that. That's a boy's toy. Like, I couldn't admit. There was this Matchbox car thing that had like the ramp and the elevator. I wanted this thing so bad. I could not admit that I wanted it. I could not tell anybody because it was a boy's toy.
Yeah.
Too.
It's almost like the song you're embarrassed to like, but you don't want people.
Right.
You hear
like
"Come
a
On" and you want
pleasure.
to. You hear "Come On," you want to rock out, but the people around, you're just like, "This song
Can't be
sucks."
caught listening to that. Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, again, hey, to each his own about what they want to believe in, because we're constantly trying to search for what people are trying to search for, the meaning of life and everything. but it just seems like
extreme.
Yeah, I mean, and it is like you were saying, it's creepy.
Yeah.
In this, and I'm sure if you pulled it up on YouTube, you could probably watch this video.
Right.
Of these people who are literally just saying, "Okay, everyone, goodbye," because they stopped talking to their families and everything,
and they just buy into it, man.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they weren't accepted in society
like
or whatnot.
Maybe they looked at it as their religion kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's what they believed in. That's it. I mean,
and it's people from background. I mean, granted, only 39, but the different backgrounds. And another thing I found while I was researching this is one of the things that I read was right before they all did this mass suicide.
Right.
They put on their website, it's coming, Comet Hale-Bopp, we're about to go. Heavensgate.com is actually still up. And
is that right?
If you actually go, let me just do it real quick. If you actually go to heavensgate.com, which I had it up already, red alert, Hale-Bopp brings closure to, like the website that they posted right before. That's even creepy. It's still up.
That's real creepy.
Right now, I'm sitting here looking at it.
Somebody has to pay for that to stay up. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's even, like who's still paying and why.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, you do have, I guess there might still be followers, but to what extent?
Right.
Yeah.
So... But it's definitely an interesting concept. Yep. Okay, it has it up right here. I mean, you can even buy a hard copy of their book, it says. I wonder if you go and order that, if you'll actually have it sent.
Yeah, really.
I just want to know, because again, we don't know what happens when we leave here, but either they were happy because they were right, or they were pretty pissed off when they were done saying, we're not on some spacecraft, so.
Exactly.
But anyway, so that's Heaven's Gate, and definitely interesting, so. But so Mario, this one here is what I'm interested. I can't wait to hear about.
So this is something I had. Well, when we came up with this topic, it instantly hit me because I was looking into this. I want to say, 8 years ago. Okay. It's called Bohemian Grove.
Not Rhapsody.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, Bohemian Grove, and evidently it's a restricted area, 2,700 square feet of land. It's actually like a campground, but it's in the redwoods in Northern California.
They're all in California.
I know. Well, a lot of loons out there, I guess, man. I don't know, but evidently this is where all the countries and even world elites go to 2 weeks out of the year during the summer, and they have like this big ritual gathering that nobody talks about. So nobody knows anything. So there's all kinds of theories and like ideas of what's going on, but nobody really knows. Again, so vice presidents go of America, like the big guys, Ronald Reagan, Nixon.
Wow.
They all go.
Okay.
And what is crazy about it is one guy, like a documentary filmmaker, snuck in. And again, to sneak in, I watched a YouTube video of it today. To sneak into this place, it's like trying to get to like Area 51. Like it's blocked off. There's security guards out there that there's like surveillance cameras. You just can't get in.
Jeez.
So this guy kind of went undercover and acted like he was like one of these, like, I think he said he swam across a lake to get in. Like he went underwater and then to go undetected, he went underwater and got out and then like got onto, I guess they like they put him on like a truck, and then he got on the truck and he just blended in, said he was like rich and whatever. I forget the guy's name, but he got in. And he started documenting their rituals. And what they do is evidently there's a 40-foot owl. So the thing, it's like made out of stone, but it's over like a lake. Okay. And he went to where, this is where they do their, there it is right there.
Yeah. In fact, it's up, you can see it up
there. There it is right there.
Yeah,
see that? It's a 40-foot owl. Wow. And see how they're all dressed in like robes around them? Yeah. That's like, that'll be like your president of the United States and stuff. So this isn't just like weirdos. This is like people that are running your country.
This is
right. This is like people that are like have power of your country, and they're going out to this place in the middle of California for 2 weeks that nobody knows about. So it's mind blowing. And evidently what they do is they bring a coffin in front of this place. Now the rumors are that they could be sacrificing humans in these coffins because nobody knows what's inside of them. However, this documentary filmmaker caught footage of this. So he caught footage of the coffin being brought up, and then they're all standing there with torches, and then they're saying some kind of like weird ritual and all. He said he was so scared His only plan of action was just to get the footage and get out of there because it became real creepy real fast.
I would have had a pistol with one bullet with me too, because if I got captured, that's my only way out.
And listen to this: no women are allowed, so it's men only.
Okay.
You have to pay $25,000 to join, but if you're lucky enough, because there's a 15-year waiting list to get into this place, and you have to be invited. So it's a 15-year waiting list, $25,000 initiation fee, and then $5,000 a year yearly fee to stay into this group or whatever.
So it's not just like an event you pay for once.
Right.
I mean, once you're in,
you have
that's
to be invited, and then obviously you have to know people to get in, and then once you get in this to whatever they're doing, see that it's just so wild. See that?
Yeah.
And so it's like they do all kinds of weird rituals. No women, and because there's no women there, this really blew my mind. Mm-hmm. They have a play that they put on where a handful of men dress up as women. Are there, that's weird.
Right. I mean, that goes back to almost like Greek time when.
I was going to say that's what they used to do back in the day.
Is that right?
Yeah, like Julius Caesar times and everything. Men
play
all
allowed
the parts.
to do it.
So let me see something real quick. I wrote a couple things down.
Is anyone else a little concerned for Mario's safety?
I know, right?
I
might not make it home tonight. Watch.
I was thinking about that. You know, if something's going to happen, we're either going to get cut off of the air, and then people are going to be waiting for us outside.
Is that funny or what?
But that's...
Dude, I'm telling you.
Oh, there's a picture right there. You got Richard Nixon.
See, that's Richard...
and Ronald Reagan.
Yes. And that's what was caught on, I guess, the guy's surveillance, but it's wild, man. They said Warren Buffett's gone. I think they said Clint Eastwood. Like Hollywood elites will go too. So it's not just government. So it'll be like Hollywood elites.
It's people you see every day, you follow, and things like that. It's
so weird. But then again, the theories behind what they're doing and why. So like are they sacrificing humans, or it's just really weird. So some of the notes I wrote. The roots of the United Nations came out of talks from this place. The roots of the atom bomb came from here. So they talked about it. And what they do is they'll have a lot of times they'll talk about who they want to run for president. So they'll say
for all we know, that's where they're deciding.
That's what exactly, and that's what they'll say if you read it on Wikipedia and all. That's what it'll say. A lot of the things that affect our country happen here, and then a year or two later actually come into fruition. It's mind-boggling, man. God. Yeah, so it's really crazy, and like I said, it's in the middle of the woods,
right,
for 2 weeks every year in July.
Now, the one thing I'm curious of too, which I don't know, so once they're done, it's just like you said, it's just an open area. Anybody go to, or do they don't keep it secured or closed? They keep it closed.
So they do, yeah. So I watched this YouTube video today, and these I guess it was a group of 3 or 4 people that wanted to go check it out.
Okay.
They traveled to this place. They went to go check it out, and they were turned away as soon as they got there. A guard, a security guard, was out there, and within 5 minutes, police came. And they said no, and they asked to go back, and they said no. They you can't. You got it's private property. You're not allowed back, and they got kicked off. So that's why it was such a miracle for this one guy to get in. He swam underwater or something, and he got in there and blended in, and he's the only guy that ever got in.
Talk about ballsy. Yeah. I mean, and like you said, what is the whole concept behind the owl and
right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's weird cult.
The coffin, like you said, because. When you have something like that, when and you go back, I mean, obviously all the cults and all the things you hear about, because there are cults out there that do human sacrifices.
Yes.
I mean, I was watching, again, going on this kick of documentaries and watching this stuff. I remember it was 2020, interviewed this girl, and now she's in her 20s, but she grew up with her grandmom.
Right.
And her grandmom used to be part of this group, and she would get sexually assaulted constantly. She would say she witnessed where they would get bums off the street and sacrifice them.
Right.
So it's kind of
it's weird, man.
Is it all tied together somehow? What?
Right. And and then your mind starts wandering
right, how long has this been going on?
And what are they doing?
Right.
And why?
It's not a social club. I mean, if it is, it's some kind of crazy, little social club, but it's
crazy.
Never
I can't believe there's never been an actual movie on this or something. Yeah. On that would be awesome.
I mean, that people are probably terrified of.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have these leaders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't want that getting out.
I mean, and God, like you said with this guy, imagine if he did get caught.
Right.
I mean, that footage would never gotten. It probably been never known where he was.
What's crazy is on YouTube, he's he's not disguised. They didn't distort his face or voice, and he puts his name on there.
Yeah,
I'll send you the link, but you got to watch
definitely,
it.
yeah, because that'd be post that too. But that's insane. I mean, again, I mean, hey, to each his own. But that goes beyond religious belief,
right?
Though.
That's
I mean, that's
deep.
It is. Yeah. There's really no words for it. I mean, so, but yeah. So I don't really know. Moving on from that, but one of the things I did also want to talk about, and being is because this was something Rick always brought up,
right?
Is Scientology, the Church of Scientology. Now,
okay,
Scientology. I think anybody's heard of Scientology, and there is just so much behind it. You know, I mean, all the conspiracies, the beliefs they have. So, just to kind of give a little brief description of it, the Church of Scientology. Wow. Mm-hmm. Their core belief holds that a human is an immortal spiritual being that is resident in a physical body. Mm-hmm. And they call the spiritual being Thetan. The Thetan has had innumerable past lives, some of which preceding the Thetan's arrival on Earth, which lived in extraterrestrial culture. So, our past lives, we've lived among the aliens or whatnot. Scientology describes itself as a study and handling of the spirit in a relationship to itself, others, and all of life. They also believe that people have innate yet suppressed power and ability which can be regained if cleared of unwanted behavioral patterns and discomforts. Now, with that, again, kind of trying to do research on this, because you could spend years trying to, like, study this stuff.
Right.
You know, that's where some controversy comes in on, like, their psychological backgrounds on things. I mean, how it's like the brainwashing, so to speak. Scientology described as a religion to also help people using scientific approaches to self-actualize their full potential. Believers reach their full potential when they understand themselves in their true relationship to the physical universe and the Supreme Being. They believe that man is basically good and that he is seeking to survive, and that his survival depends on himself and his attainment of brotherhood with the universe. And that's stated in the creed of the Church of Scientology. They also believe that people have hidden abilities which have not yet been fully realized, which you talked about. They have this through auditing. It said that people can solve their problems and free themselves with engrams. This restores them to natural condition as the Thetans and enables them to be at cause of their daily lives, responding rationally and creatively to life events rather than reacting to them under the direction of stored engrams. Now, going with that too, you know, there's so many things you always read, like people who try to get out of Scientology, because again, Scientology, you have all these celebrities that are in it, and they sit there and they talk about to get out. I mean, there's been conspiracy of murder happen, that all these like famous people who have died, you know, these suspicious ways, they were Scientologists and they've been looking to get out. Yeah. And then suddenly they mysteriously, you know, pass away.
Right.
And not only that, they have, I guess, a thing in their whole creed of if anyone is threatening Scientology, it's like 100% go after them.
Really?
Like, I mean, get them any way possible. I mean, do not disrespect or say anything about it, because they will come after you.
Wow.
Now, part of Scientology is what is called, it says in the lore of Church Xenu. It's he was the dictator of the Galactic Confederacy, who brought billions of his people to Earth, which was then known as TGAC in DC-8 like spacecraft. So Earth was a place called TGAC 75 million ago. Let's see. It stacked them around volcanoes and killed them with hydrogen bombs. Okay, so all right, it's all getting mixed up here. I'm sorry. So he brought billions of his people to Earth and he killed them all by stacking them around volcanoes, and he killed them with hydrogen bombs. Officially, Scientology scripture holds that immortal spirits of these aliens adhere to humans, causing spiritual harm. These events are known within Scientology as Incident 2, and the traumatic memories associated with them as the Wall of Fire, or R6 implant. The narrative of Xenu is part of Scientology teachings about extraterrestrial civilizations and alien interventions in earthly events, collectively described as space opera by L. Ron Hubbard. Hubbard detailed the story in Operating Thetan Level 3 in 1967, warning that the R6 implant was calculated to kill anyone who attempts to solve it. So, but here's the thing about L. Ron Hubbard. He was an author. He wrote stories. That's one of the controversies about Scientology, is he came up with all... I mean, this is just one bit of, you know, his view on how Earth started and everything. Right. But again, he was like a science fiction writer.
Right.
You know, so... And these people are all following it. And again, not saying there's anything wrong with it.
Right.
But... when you go and you sit there and think of all those little things, again, we don't know, of course. Who are we to pass judgment? But and the Scientology, I mean, I don't really know. I haven't looked into it enough to know if they have been known for doing any, you know, ritualistic type things where they're sacrificing. But I do know that I've heard when you're in Scientology, like once you're in, it's like impossible to get out.
There's some celebrities in there.
There's like all kinds. I mean, I think Tom Cruise is a big one.
Yeah.
I mean,
John Travolta.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I was thinking of. John Travolta.
And then they have
Leah Remini is the one that she did get out, and she's.
Is that from the King of Queens?
Yeah, from King, and she's the one who's like speaking out big time. And she has a whole series on I forget what network where she exposes them, follows them, and calls them out for harassing people who have tried to leave. Wow. One thing also you were talking about, I have followed this very closely because I'm so addicted to things like new religions just popping up out of nowhere, which this did. It was put out in the documentary that one thing L. Ron Hubbard was obsessed, was also dealing with tax evasion and horrible issues with taxes. And what was his one book? Dianetics.
Dianetics. Yep.
That was his first.
Came out in the 80s.
Right. That was his first trial for trying to do something like Scientology, and it failed. So then he tried the Scientology aspect of it. And one of the things was he was a very big proponent of being out at sea. And also being out at sea, he was able to do things without the law looking over his shoulder. So inside of Scientology, different levels of Scientology, you'll see them wearing actual captains, like captain of a boat, attire, and it's called the Sea Org because this all became a thing out at sea. Also, another thing, you were talking about auditing.
Yes,
and the I'm sorry if I'm stealing your thunder.
Well, no, because this is again something I was trying to throw together with Gene and Jenna. You know what I mean? Right, So I was trying to get some, but no, this is great. Yeah.
So auditing, and I'm gonna show a picture right now. Auditing is this whole thing of holding these two. Looks like soda cans hooked up to what looks like a lie detector test that is supposed to measure your thetan levels
I have
as you speak. And what has been said that is what is going on here is they ask you very, very, very personal questions and ask you to admit to any kind of, the more that you admit to, the more secrets you tell, the more the thetans will leave your body. So when you go there and you're getting your thetans read, and somebody and you have to pay for these sessions. You have to pay and pay and pay for these sessions.
Oh, so they make you do it,
right?
But
so
they're charging you. Okay,
they're charging you. I think it's like the first one's free, and then they tell you have 1,000,001 thetans. But
$1 a thetan.
What happens is they tell you in order, and people are like, well, how do I get rid of them? Well, you have to come back, and we have to get you to a level that is acceptable, and by getting to that level, you have to relinquish all of the skeletons in your closet, basically. And what has been rumored is that by doing so, they then have a file on you with all of your deepest, darkest secrets. So then if you are to go against them, they release them. And what is thought to be the case is with people like John Travolta, with what's Pretty Boy's name again?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. With these guys, they have their deepest, darkest secrets, so they have to hold on to that,
Right.
and be able to have these people be the spokespeople for Scientology. And when you watch these, I forget what service, it's one of the streaming services that has these amazing documentaries on this. You learn about how horrible they are to kids, to families. And if one member of your family decides they don't want to be a Scientologist anymore, you are required to basically
Shun them.
Disown them.
disown them.
Right.
Wow.
And they have family members who have left Scientology, and now they no longer, their whole entire family shuns them for leaving Scientology, and their family members have actually gone against them for leaving Scientology. It's such a messed up scenario.
There's like a term too that they call them. It's like an uncooperative person or some kind of something person.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna see what that was, but yeah, that's something that they're called.
And that's perfect, and that's a great way to sum it up, because again, where they have things just written out, and you try to explain it, and you try to read different things, it's like, you know, they want to throw it in a million different words, you know, but that's the best way, because again, the next thing I was talking about, which Mike, you already covered, was again, it's a controversy that this Thetan thing is just something that they came up with to get all your deep dark secrets, like Mike just said. So it's like, well, if not, you don't tell us about it, and then from there you're just totally screwed, especially if you're a high profile person,
Right?
You know, that's so yeah, and it's just so many levels of it. It's crazy.
And speaking of the levels, I'm gonna bring it up right here. I'm trying to find a better picture of it, but like you said, there are levels to it, and this is the bridge to total freedom Scientology classification gradation and awareness chart of levels of certificates. So in training, each level that you go up, you have to not only to get there, you have to reach the level that they tell you you're at, but you pay a substantial fee each level you go, and you continue to pay and pay and pay.
Wow.
And like you've got class 6, class 7, class 8, and that's all training. And then you've got over here, which you go to OT1, OT2,
right,
and all the way up to I don't
even know what that. Yeah,
but you got to go through all of this before they even release to you, relinquish to you, explain to you that what you've been doing this all for is Xeno.
Right.
So you get all the way to the end, and then they tell you that it's all about this alien.
Right.
But you don't know that until you get to that end, which you're already hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars into this. God. So most people by that point, even though it's beyond their comprehension, like, are you kidding me?
Right.
They've already bought in, so they just go with it.
Right. And then again, by that point too, they already know so much about you. And then, like you said, once they get to that point, you're just like, wait a minute, you mean all this crap I just did, it's all about an alien that brought people here and killed and did, And if
you watch, I'm sorry, I'm really into this.
No, you're fine.
If you watch the documentary and see how much the government was against giving them the status of religion, of church, they were so against it. But then Scientology started finding dirt on the people in charge, the state senators, the governors, the people that were in charge of voting whether or not a church gets church status. They started harassing their families. They started doing all this crazy stuff, and then at some point the government just tapped out and said, "Okay, you got it."
I know. They're probably like, whatever, you want to believe it, fine.
That's on you.
It's literally crazy that something that came out of an author's mind to evade taxes, and because at some point he says during the documentary, if you want to become untouchable and a millionaire, it's create a religion, and he did it.
Yeah, I mean,
and did it successfully.
Can you really blame the guy? I mean,
and they say hail Ron Hubbard, like that. They say it like he is God. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
And again, I've seen too, like different documentary clips or things on YouTube where people will just be outside of, like, because you've seen the Church of Scientology. I think they have one in Philly, don't they? They have a Church of Scientology, I think.
Oh, you should go check it out.
Like go there and knock on the door and say,
Knock
hey,
on the
can you tell me
door,
about it?
ask
Say you're interested.
ask for your thetans to be read.
I've seen people though, like they'll just be like videoing from a phone or taking a pic, and you'll have people coming out
Yeah.
and saying, "No, get away." Like
Right.
can't even take a picture of the the church itself.
That's
Yeah, so it is. I mean, it's another one. I mean, this is though one of those official successful cults in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if
ongoing.
Is it not all
official.
dead?
what's that?
Because they're not all dead.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so it is, and I know again, this was one that I know Rick loved because he would bring it up all the time, and how
Do you remember him talking about it?
Well, I don't.
No.
But I didn't listen to the show.
I was.
Yeah, I know,
it's
you
funny.
were-
I was telling Mario
Yeah.
that beforehand. Yeah. So.
But I do remember. I remember the commercials for that Dianetics book.
Right.
Because I mean, I know I'm a little older than the rest of you, but I was a kid. I was maybe 9, 10, 11 years old when that commercial was just everywhere.
Right.
Like, it was on all the time.
they were really trying to promote it.
And it was interesting because it was something that even as a kid, it caught my attention because they would ask all these questions that were like interesting questions. And I was kind of like, yeah, why is that?
Right.
Like I was curious about the book and but I didn't know
Yeah.
anything more than that about it because I was still pretty young. But
They're like,
heavily
I'm
promoted.
actually really curious to
Yeah.
know what that book even was about because it was just everywhere in my childhood.
I mean, that's almost like books like the Adolf Hitler, that Mein Kampf book.
Yeah.
Mein
I mean,
Kampf.
Mein Kampf. Yeah.
Mein
I had bought the book.
Right.
And I remember I bought it when I was like 18, and I remember when I bought it and I brought it home. I was still living at home, and my dad was like, "Don't be taking that out anywhere," because
Yeah,
like people
I'll
will
think
start to
you're
think like
Start
because
wondering what's going on.
right, because
Yeah.
you got people like
Yeah.
the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, Timothy
McVeigh. He was.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that book specifically, but you have people that'll read these books and these different things, and
and go nuts.
all of a sudden they'll
Right.
do these acts.
Yeah.
So,
And it does look like if you do a Google search, you can pull up the 1986. So I would have been like 11.
that's when I was born.
TV ad for Diane. Shut up, Doug.
Wow, I just heard Rick come from her
Yeah,
right there because
yeah.
I would say the same thing and he would say, "Shut up, Doug." Yeah.
Is that what he would
yeah,
say?
Oh yeah, so that's perfect.
I would have known that had I been listening to the show. That's what he would have said too. Yeah. So 1986 Dianetics L. Ron Hubbard TV ad. So you could actually pull it up and I don't want to like play it and
No, I was going to say we're going to have all our listeners pulling it up, and they're all going
Yeah.
to switch to Scientology.
Jeez.
But no, I mean,
I don't know much about it, but it's interesting. Now I'm gonna look it up when I go home.
yeah, it's just it just draws you enough to, I guess, in a sense, be like,
Right.
maybe not, but it's,
You
again,
kind of
good to know
wonder
right?
why they're so
wondering-
transfixed on it.
especially
you know?
again celebrities. I mean,
Right.
granted, there's celebrities out there that they are a little out of their mind, but if you're making that much money, you
Yeah,
can
it's like
act.
they
Who
lose their
cares?
mind once they get famous. It's like,
Right,
you know,
right.
it's crazy.
But just so to kind of wrap it up, I know there's like other in a sense honorable mentions. Like one thing that's big, the Manson family
right.
murders. I mean, they thought he was like God,
Yeah.
or Jesus. I mean, he was a prophet. Which good.
No, there's one. I don't know if you heard of. It was like the Jonestown.
Jonestown.
It was yeah.
Down in
it was
South Amer-
African Americans, I think.
It was
or
no,
church.
Jonestown. He was a pastor.
Right. That's
And he started out, and he had his whole congregation
That's
like
what it was.
moved down to South America, and then before they did the mass suicide, he
Mass
like
suicide.
killed a bunch of
Yeah.
news reporters down there, but as they were getting on an airplane,
right. Yeah.
and then he ended up doing
they
again.
all drank a potion or something.
Yep.
Is that
That's
that
the
was crazy.
That's the
expression.
Kool-Aid. Yeah.
So, yeah, cyanide.
Yeah, the expression
Yeah, that
drink
was
the
crazy.
Kool-Aid, that's what that comes
Yeah.
from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because
Yeah.
he put it in Kool-Aid.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
remember-
I think,
yeah.
because I think he was the Kool-Aid, and I think Heaven's Gate was the whole Nikes thing. I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid and Nike kind of thing.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was that. Again,
was
that was
another
another
one.
one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
when
it
you
was
sit there and
it
think
was the
about
70s. I don't remember what year. Do you know what year that was?
I do.
Jonestown?
Jonestown. Yeah, I think it was like mid. Yeah, I mean, I know we're running out of time here, but while we're on the topic, let's see. Single largest loss of life. Of course, ads got to pop up.
1978.
Yes, there you go.
1978, there you go.
It existed. It was the People's Temple, and it existed between 1955 and 78. Because again, he started out as a pastor.
Right.
Put it all out there. I'm a prophecy. from God.
That's what he's doing.
And literally, I mean, he even had infants.
Yeah, I know.
They like had parents kill their kid first,
little kids,
and then they would do it to themselves. And like even the footage of that, you see this whole aerial thing.
All like
it's
dead
just
kids.
bodies.
I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. So
the worst part of that, again, another one. I love watching things on cults. The worst thing is that he got on the microphone and got them to feed it to the kids, and then they drank it themselves.
Yep.
But then he was going to actually try to get away. He died a ways away next to his plane.
I think,
and one of his guys shot him.
Like he didn't buy into the only thing he was preaching, right? He kind of ran away from it.
Right. Yeah. Well, you sit there and wonder how many of all those people, how many of them were like, wait a minute, because I mean, he made it out there as all drink it, it'll be sudden, but then people are choking.
Yeah, it wasn't sudden.
Right.
No,
I mean,
that's never
drinking cyanide. It's going to eat you out from the inside out.
Yeah, that's going to be bad.
I mean, so people seeing what they're going through, like, do I want to do this? Do I care about this guy that much?
It's crazy. Isn't it crazy how people's minds just get like taken over almost by like beliefs?
Right.
It's crazy, man.
It's like everyone's trying to find a place.
And they don't think for themselves anymore. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it definitely it
could probably do a whole show on the mental health aspect of that.
Right, and that's, like you said, that's right up your alley, obviously.
What kind of people does it take to join those kind of things? You know what I mean? Where are they at before they joined?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is cool to look into.
And the people who are leading those cults, where they're at.
Right. They could just be sadistic.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back in history, someone like Adolf Hitler, we talked about Hitler, dictator.
That's a good one to bring up,
One of the most intelligent people, military dictators
he was a genius when it came to that stuff.
And he did all the genocide and everything like that, but he was still a genius.
And
so
all the people bought into it.
It's those manipulators, whatever you can do.
It's crazy to think about, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, we could go on with all of them and everything, but it's definitely an interesting, interesting topic. And again, I do have to give Jenna credit because she was actually going to do the Manson family coming in. So but yeah, so that does it for our cults thing. So of course, like you said, our hour runs up quick. But before we go, Mario, anything you you got going on promoting? I know you're our famous movie filmmaker.
Yeah, so movie wise, Human Hibachi, the original one, releases worldwide April 19th.
Coming up.
DVD release into Walmart. Amazon Prime's going to be streaming it all over iTunes, and then the sequel should be premiering in June. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where that's at, and I might even write a third. It's kind of starting to break into like a franchise. The Human Hibachi thing kind of really took off,
especially when you see it and you start thinking, well, wait, I should have done this, so let me just add it to this or something.
You know how that ties into what we did today?
What's that?
It got a cult following.
Hey now.
So that's kind of why it took off.
All right.
There's like a small and international, like in Asia, really.
Really?
That's where it kind of really took off. So
good deal.
Yeah. So
perfect. Cool, and real quick, go ahead. You had just shown me something. So
I just wanted to put this out here because we talked about cults today. That there is a website, www.daretodoubt.org. And they have some information on leaving and recovering from cults. So if anyone is having any issues with that, if they're looking to escape, that website is www.daretodoubt.org.
And I'll post that on the thing too. And that's good that they have those organizations like that. I mean, because again, you think you're trapped. What am I going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but that's awesome. Go ahead.
One other thing, just, in the interest of similar issues that anybody might be having, we also have the domestic violence hotline. That is 800-799-7233. So if you're having any issues with domestic violence, 1-800-799-7233.
Yeah, that's perfect because you never know what people are going through. You
have a loved one trying to get you into a cult or abusing you in some way or trying to pull you into something that makes you uncomfortable.
Awesome.
there is help out there.
All right, perfect. All right, well, that will pretty much do it for us then. I want to thank you guys again, Mario, Taryn, and Mary again joining us after just having the. You're ready to get home. Well, I know they're coming home tomorrow.
Yeah, they're gonna be home in the morning.
But still,
I'm gonna sleep on the bed tonight. That hospital bed.
You get the best sleep of your life today.
Yeah, I ain't kidding.
But yeah. So all right, well. For Mario, for Taryn, for me, and for our beloved Rick, obviously, we are Paradelphia, and we are out of here.
Later.
Okay.